Lanka and across the world, it's your national news broadcast on ChannelEye Rupavahini Corporation. I'm Siobhan Pereira.
And I'm Sharon Mascarenhas. First, it's a look at today's headlines.
The President emphasizes mill owners the need to distribute rice without any shortage at a reasonable price. The new Chief Justice sworn in. Protests in front of the Ministry of Education becomes tense. A police officer admitted to the ICU. The committee report on allowances and rights of the parliamentarians, ministers and former presidents handed over to the President. More than 400 kilos of narcotics along with 2 fishing vessels and suspects handed over to the Police Anti-Narcotics Bureau. The presidential pardon to President Biden's son.
On to the stories in detail, starting off with local news.
A discussion between President Anurukumara Dissanayake and small and medium-scale rice mill owners took place today at the Presidential Secretariat.
During the discussion, the President emphasized the importance of ensuring a continuous and affordable supply of rice to consumers in the coming months. He engaged with the mill owners to identify immediate measures needed to achieve this goal. The meeting also focused on enhancing storage facilities across the country to prevent shortages and ensure a steady rice supply. Additionally, concerns were raised about declining the availability of Nadu rice for consumption due to its increased use in value-added products. President Dissanayake highlighted the potential benefits of introducing a QR code system to streamline the distribution of fertilizer subsidies and boost domestic agricultural production. Minister of Trade, Commerce, Food Security and Cooperative Development Vasantha Samarasinga, Satosa Chairman Dr. Samitha Pereira, officials and small and medium-scale rice mill owners attended the discussion.
Now, a protest was staged in front of the Ministry of Education today, demanding the immediate recruitment of school development officers to the teaching profession. The Ministry of Education stresses that the protesters have not informed the ministry regarding this protest. The ministry also says that school development officers have not requested even a discussion to address their issue at present. Without informing, the Joint School Development Officers Collective has organized a protest in front of the Ministry of Education this afternoon. In this protest campaign, the school development officers marched to the ministry premises from Battaramulla and held the protest in front of the ministry. Our correspondent said that a heated condition erupted at this protest. 4 protesters were taken into custody. The protesters carried out their protest blocking the road for about an hour. A huge traffic congestion also occurred due to this situation. Several police officers were injured and admitted to the emergency unit. In an inquiry, the police said that the condition of 3 policemen is serious. 1 officer is still undergoing treatment in the emergency treatment unit. The 4 protesters who were taken into custody were produced before the Kadula magistrate and ordered to be remanded until the 10th of this month. This protest has been organized in a backdrop of taking measures to solve the problem. The national television yesterday informed that parliamentarian Chandana Suriyarachi has already enlightened the cabinet of ministers regarding this matter. Parliamentarian and Secretary to the Development Office Services Association Chandana Suriyarachi said that according to the reconciliation process initiated by the Supreme Court, the authorities of the Ministry of Education have been empowered to engage in the recruitment program. The relevant constitutional power is to be based upon the recommendations of the Public Services Commission. All measures must be subjected to the Charter of the Teacher Service. It has also been reported that the relevant recommendations have been directed to the Cabinet of Ministers to conduct the competitive examinations and to extend the maximum age limit for applying for such examinations to 45 years. Parliamentarian Chandana Suriyarachi further said that all trade union representatives have come under a unanimous agreement to resolve the dispute speedily, extending maximum fairness to all graduates in the state service and development of officials currently engaging in the state service.
A committee report compiled under the patronage of former Supreme Court Judge K.T. Chitrasiri was presented to the President today. This committee has been appointed to reconsider the allowances and entitlements of members of Parliament, ministers and former presidents. Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya and Secretary to the President Dr. Nandika Sanath Kumar Nayaka were also in attendance.
3 fundamental right petitions filed in connection with the Grade 5 scholarship examination were taken up for consideration today. Now, the Attorney General informed the Supreme Court that the Cabinet has recommended all the students who sat for the examination will be freely given marks for the 3 questions alleged to be out in advance. Appearing for the respondents, Solicitor General Viraj Dayaratne informed the Supreme Court that the Cabinet of Ministers has also recommended not to conduct the examination again since it may cause inconvenience to the students who sat for the examination. Accordingly, the Cabinet has recommended to grant free marks to all students who face allegedly leaked 3 questions. In addition, holding the examination again may cause disturbances to the examination department since it has a busy timetable of holding other examinations. The Solicitor General further pointed out that this problem may cause to the admission process for the grade 6 in popular schools. In addition, it was informed that the Attorney General has filed a motion requesting to consider these petitions before a full bench of Supreme Court judges. The petitions are to be reconsidered on the 11th of this month. Former Minister Lohan Ratwatte and his wife were produced before the Nugegoda Magistrates Court and ordered to be remanded again until the 6th of this month. They had been charged against a case of illegally assembling a vehicle. Colombo Magistrates Court today ordered to release a suspect, Kalum Harsha, on bail, who was taken into custody and remanded in connection with sharing false information through social media that there were Mahaviru terrorist commemoration ceremonies. Accordingly, he will be released under 2 personal bails, each worth 500,000 rupees. The case will be resummoned on the 11th of February.
Supreme Court Justice Murthy Fernando was officially sworn in as the Chief Justice before President Anurakumar Dissanayake today at the Presidential Secretariat. She assumed Justice of Sri Lanka, succeeding Chief Justice Jayantha Jayasuriya, who recently retired. Her appointment received approval from the Constitutional Council. She began her career at the Attorney General's Department in 1985, rising through its ranks to become Deputy Solicitor General in 1997 and Additional Solicitor General in 2014. With over 3 decades of service as a State Counsel, she was appointed to the Supreme Court in March 2018. As the most senior Supreme Court Justice prior to her appointment, she has played a significant role in shaping Sri Lanka's legal landscape. She has also served as a Senior Additional Solicitor General at the Attorney General's Department, demonstrating a distinguished career in public service. Murthy Fernando, an old girl of Princess of Wales College in Moratuwa, earned her Bachelor of Laws degree from the Faculty of Law, University of Colombo. The event was attended by the Secretary to the President, Dr. Nandika Sanath Kumar Nayaka.
Well, the weather seems to have eased up a bit. Train services in the upcountry line-up to Badulla resumed today. Now, the train services up to Badulla has commenced after 6 days.
The upcountry train service has been obstructed for nearly 1 week due to landslides in the areas adjoining Uduvara and Haliyala. An earth mound had fallen onto the railway track near the number 175 over 50-mile post. Railway employees managed to remove the entire earth cover by night yesterday. According to the Met Department, several rounds of rain is expected in the northern province today. There is a possibility of light showers in the Gaul and Mathura districts. In the rest of the country, mainly a dry weather will prevail. The Met Department further says that the sea area from Puttalam to Trincomalee via Kankasanture would experience winds with a speed of about 60 km per hour, with the tendency of an increase in the wind speed. Accordingly, the concerned sea areas could be rough intermittently. The communique further says that a wind speed around 50 km per hour could be experienced from Puttalam to Pothuil via Colombo, Gaul and Hambantota. The commencement of beach seine fishing industry could be witnessed after several days around the Puttalam Sea area. It has been reported that a large number of consumers gathered in order to buy fish. Deep-sea fishing in the northwestern sea strip was not in operation due to the inclement weather. Deputy Minister of Rural Development, Social Security and Community Empowerment Vasanta Piyatissa says that daily life has been affected since the fishermen were not able to venture into the sea. He added that provisions have been allocated in order to pay compensation to people people who had been affected by all kinds of disaster conditions as a government considering the situation. He pointed out that action has to be taken for long-term future planning in order to reduce losses due to flood situations like the present one.
Now in other news, the Central Environmental Authority says that the air quality index has reached a medium value at present. It was indicated in some areas between 100 and 110 digits yesterday. According to the data received by the authority this morning, the air quality index was lower than 100 digits. Director of the Education Division of the Central Environment Authority, Dr. Ajit Gunawardena, says that the increased air quality index value will go down in the coming days. Director of the Education Division of the Central Environmental Authority, Dr. Ajit Gunawardena, said that they observed higher value of 100 or 110 digits at areas like Colombo, Jaffna and Kurunagala yesterday. He said that this condition is considered somewhat harmful, especially for sensitive persons. He added that it may cause health problems for them. He further said that decrease below 100. Dr. Ajit Gunawardena stressed that in some areas it is about 50. He said that quality from 0 to 100 digits is really conducive for people.
Now we move on into more local news. The two local fishing vessels and the suspects who had been transporting crystal meth, commonly known as ice, which was taken into custody recently. They had been taken into custody in Indian waters and were taken to the Colombo harbour today by the ship Gajabahu belonging to the Sri Lankan Navy. After a successful exchange of intelligence information, the Sri Lankan Navy Police Anti-Narcotic Bureau and the Indian Navy took into custody a group of Sri Lankan suspects on the 24th and 25th of November in Indian territorial waters. And a huge amount of ice has been discovered by the Indian Navy, and steps were taken to hand over the suspects and the stock of narcotics along with two vessels to the Sri Lankan Navy on the 29th of November. The Navy handed over the two vessels and the suspects of the future legal actions to the Sri Lankan Anti-Narcotics Bureau, and it is suspected that the stocks containing about 400 kilograms of the narcotic were found. Naval Commander Vice Admiral Priyantha Pereira and the Security Advisor of the Indian High Commission, Captain M. Anand, along with several Indian Army officials, participated in this occasion. They inspected the two vessels and the stock of narcotics which were taken into custody. Navy Commander Vice Admiral Priyantha Pereira said that this incident shows that the drug menace is a threat not only to Sri Lanka but to other countries of the region. He pointed out that the success of this operation has been due to the information received by the Navy. He also said that after analyzing those information properly, the drug peddlers were followed in the sea and have been taken into custody after an extremely successful operation. He said that, as always, it is requested from the fishing community and general public as well to hand over the information immediately to the Navy or the Police Anti-Narcotics Bureau so that this menace can be successfully avoided.
We now bring you a story of a new entrepreneur who has been successful in saving a huge amount of foreign exchange spent in importing tyres. Asanga Ratnayaka, a specialized graduate in business administration from the University of Sri Jayawardhanapura, has been able to provide a great relief to the farming community by reducing the cost considerably. Asanga Ratnayaka owns and works in the tyre retreating factory established at Panalua Industrial Area, which belongs to the Industrial Development Board. He started his new business in 2014 after being employed in a rubber production factory for about 20 years. The main product of the factory is the tyre retreating both traditionally and by following the re-retreading method. The production also includes retreaded tyres, which is a raw material in production of retreaded tyres. Apart from this, tyre inner flats are also being produced in the factory. Accordingly, there are four main products in this factory, and that is tyres being done for tyres of three-wheelers to trucks, buses, hand tractors and tractor tyres, which are being used to agricultural purposes in various sizes. According to Asanga Ratnayaka, there is a great demand in the market for new product. The Export Development Board has contributed thoroughly in expanding new venture. His venture target is to enter into the export market. An amount of 120,000 rupees has to be spent by a farmer in order to buy an imported tyre, whereas the price of a new tyre would be around 30,000 rupees, which is about 1/4 of the money spent for importing. Another unique feature is that these tyres can be retreaded up to 5 times. The factory employs more than 50 persons directly and indirectly.
Now, the Hambantota International Port Group announced a significant investment of $41 million in the state-of-the-art technology set to be fully operational by next year. This enhancement includes the installation of 4 quay cranes and 13 rubber-tired gantry cranes at the Hambantota International Port, expanding its capability in handling a capacity of 1 million TEUs. 4 quay cranes arrived at the Hambantota port on Saturday by Dikyang ship. They have an impressive load rating of 50 to 75 tons for a single handling and providing a lifting height of 42 meters above rail and 20 meters below rail. The upgraded facilities will not only bolster operations within the port's industrial zone but will also stimulate industry growth in the southern hinterland, creating new opportunities for local entrepreneurs, according to the executive director of the project, Wilson Q.
The health minister has taken measures to get the support of the Cuban government to totally control the dengue menace, which is raising its head from time to time. Accordingly, it is expected to exchange expertise, knowledge and technical support of the Cuban government relevant to control the disease. An agreement was signed in this connection at the discussion held recently at the Health Ministry between Health Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa and Cuban Ambassador Andres Marcelo. Under the new plan drawn by the government, it has been decided to strengthen the treatment services to totally control the dengue menace. Support of the Cuban government will also be obtained to control the spread of mosquito larvae and to use proper medicines. At this discussion, the health minister expressed his gratitude to the Cuban government for their consent to provide expertise and technical know-how for dengue control activities in Sri Lanka. Acting Secretary to the Ministry of Health, Vatsala Priyadarshini, Director General of the Health Services, Dr. Asela Gunawardana, and several other officials were present at this occasion.
Now, during the past week, there has been a wide discussion on the ethnic harmony as well as the minority communities in connection with the north and eastern provinces in the country. People of the north and east historically changed the past voting trend in the recent general election, paving the way for a new hope and on a fresh political culture. What do they really expect from this government? We asked senior journalist Sulochana Ramaya Mohan, and she analyzed the political scenario in the north and east in connection with the recent election.
The north and east of this country, people of those two regions have always counted on a hopeful transformation into a political system in Sri Lanka, and this mandate given to the President Anurukumara Dissanayake reads very loud, and he has taken this whole task in his hand, which has a lot of messages that he has to pass to the people of this country. The majority of votes that given to him is a huge mandate actually in his hand. They have to do a lot of work, so practically they have to do a lot of work. That's my take. They cannot be idling or time in the parliament, having a majority in the parliament. They have to work hard and show a different kind of a political system that is going to be operating in the coming years. And we hope also that the Tamils will be relaxed, the Muslims will be relaxed. They don't have to have unattended problems, should be attended, and give them a clear idea, a message that everybody is a Sri Lankan, first of all. And I don't know about the 13th Amendment, whether that will come into place or something similar, but there are lots of issues related to land, education, unemployment, proper system where the north and east people will be able to follow, be part of it, and then continue their lives in a manner that they also anticipated for almost 70 years. So all these anticipations are now in front of the NPP government, and hopefully they will understand, appreciate and practically attend to these aspirations the people of Sri Lanka have on them.
In other stories, the Indian High Commissioner in Sri Lanka says that it is hoped to exchange programs for the Parliament staff and members of Parliament and to strengthen relations between the Parliaments of India and Sri Lanka. He made these observations when he met the new Speaker of Sri Lanka Parliament recently. The Indian High Commissioner in Sri Lanka, Santosh Jha, had a meeting with the Speaker of the new Sri Lankan Parliament, Dr. Ashoka Ranwala, at the Parliament complex. The Indian High Commissioner, after congratulating the Sri Lankan Speaker, reminded the long-term friendly relations between the two countries. Sri Lankan Speaker Dr. Ashoka Ranwala observed that steps would be taken to establish the Indo-Sri Lanka Friendship Association in the 10th Sri Lankan Parliament. During the friendly discussions, attention was paid to a large number of areas, including exchanging technical know-how and economic and trade activities.
Now, a town planning project has been introduced to Hambantota area, targeting the promotion of the tourism industry. Now, the project has been titled as the world's biggest teapot museum. Deputy Minister of Tourism, Professor Ruwan Ranasinghe, says that he has introduced this tourism plan with the support of the Uva Provincial Council, Tourist Board and the Moratuwa University. A plot of land reclaimed after an earth slip occurred has been earmarked to start this project. Deputy Minister of Tourism, Professor Ruwan Ranasinghe, said that in Sri Lanka there is an excellent tea production in aspects of quality, taste, colour and aroma. He said that Sri Lanka is the country that produces the best tea in the world. He added that there is no museum relating to this field in Sri Lanka. He further said that therefore Sri Lanka expects to create the biggest teapot in the world and use it as an excellent museum about the Sri Lankan tea industry. Professor Ruwan Ranasinghe said that in these premises, tourists will be given all facilities including cafeterias. He said that therefore a plot of land in Hambantota has been selected for this purpose. Although this project was presented during the past regime, former President Ranil Wickremesinghe rejected the proposal. The Deputy Minister also expressed his views in this connection. Deputy Minister of Tourism, Professor Ruwan Ranasinghe, said that he is unable to understand why the former President would reject such a fruitful proposal. He invited the investors to conduct feasibility studies and start their businesses with immediate effect.
Election Commission has informed all candidates who contested the general election to submit their income and expenditure reports before midnight on the 6th of this month. The candidates are able to hand over their expenditure reports to the district returning office concerned. The national list candidates can hand over them to the election secretariat. This process has been implemented under the regulation of the Election Expenditure Act. Political party secretaries, whose members contested the election, and the leaders of the independent groups should submit preparing the income and expenses reports separately. These reports can be handed over to the special counters in all districts up to 6 p.m. on normal working days and until 12 midnight on the 6th of this month. The Election Commission further says that legal measures will be taken against candidates who fail to submit the relevant reports before the scheduled date.
Now, the Consumer Affairs Authority has implemented a special program for the festive season with effect from the 25th of the last month. Director of the authority, Asela Bandara, explained the program to the media today. Director of the Consumer Affairs Authority, Asela Bandara, said that special attention will be focused to retail market in the future. He said that investigation will also be conducted on the wholesale markets and store complexes. He added that the Consumer Affairs Authority is aware that some traders sell goods at higher prices during the festive season. He further said that some goods and items are of close expiry date are also sold at lower prices during the festive seasons. Asela Bandara added that the authority requests the consumers to focus attention on the expiry date when purchasing goods.
Well, the ceremony or the commencement of baubles and belts commenced yesterday, and a special ceremony has been organized at the Mount Lavinia Hotel in this connection. 55 feet Christmas tree erected at the Mount Lavinia Hotel premises was ceremonially illuminated at this occasion. Religious dignitaries representing various religious groups, number of local and foreign tourists, also participated at this occasion. Venerable Holland Anandathera delivered a special sermon at this moment. The ceremony indicates that all the people in the country are ready to celebrate Christmas in a grand manner, sharing peace, cooperation and friendliness. Well, that's a look at local news. Stay with us. News from overseas, starting from the US, coming up next. To foreign news now. United States President Joe Biden has issued an official pardon for his son Hunter, who was facing sentence for 2 criminal cases despite previously ruling it out.
Hunter Biden pleaded guilty to tax charges earlier in September and was found guilty of being an illegal drug user in possession of a gun in June, becoming the first child of a sitting president to be convicted of a crime. The official pardon was a stunning development since Biden came to office, vowing to restore the independence of the Justice Department, which had been eroded during Trump's first term, and because he had repeatedly said that he wouldn't pardon his son. Joe Biden's full and unconditional pardon of his son comes after the president had repeatedly said he would not give him clemency. Just a couple of months ago in September, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said that Biden would not issue a pardon for his son. This decision came days after Special Counsel Jack Smith moved to dismiss the federal cases against Trump.
Now, at least 56 people have been killed after violent clashes. A football match led to a stampede in Guinea's second largest city of the country. The government said on a statement that protests of dissatisfaction with refereeing decisions led to a stone throwing by supporters, resulting in fatal stampedes at Sunday's match. The violence broke out during a match on Sunday afternoon, home to 200,000 people, where rival fans stormed the field following a controversial referee decision. Newside reported the clashes began after supporters of the visiting team hurled stones at the pitch in anger over a referee call, prompting the police to deploy tear gas.
And we're back with the sports news. Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports Sunil Kumar Gamage says that the ministry does not act for personal gains and the sole aim is to develop sports in the country.
The minister made this observation in a meeting held with the National Sports Associations and Conventions officials. Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports Sunil Kumar Gamage said that the ministry has to be conducive for sports and actions like banning and stoppage of sports has to be avoided. He added that whenever a match is played and a player is available, steps should be taken in order to include him in a team so that he is able to play. He added that it is not the aim of the ministry to engage in favoritism in the selection of players, and the ministry would never take such steps. Deputy Minister of Sports Sugat Tilakaratne said that sports has to be taken forward with transparency, correctly and with a proper method of selecting players, where no player would be subjected to any kind of injustice. He pointed out that the aim of the ministry is to make the players play, but not to engage in any kind of obstructive activities.
Now, the Sri Lankan players participating in the Under-19 Asian Cup Women's T20 Cricket Tournament are to leave the island tomorrow early in the morning. The Asia Cup Cricket Tournament is being held in Malaysia. Maludinana Kar from Princess of Wales College, Moratuwa, is the captain of the Sri Lanka Women's T20 team, while Rashmika Sewandi from Anura Vidyalaya Matara will be her deputy. 15 players have been included in the team which is participating in the tournament. The tournament will be held from the 15th to the 22nd of this month with the participation of 6 countries. Sri Lanka will be playing in Group A in the first round, which includes Malaysia and Bangladesh also. Sri Lanka will play against Malaysia on the 15th of December in their first match of the tournament. The second match of Sri Lanka will be against Bangladesh, which will be played on the 16th. And that was a look at your news here at Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. I'm Siobhan.